there, kids! It's time to talk about the 1970s, presented through History on Paper. Let's break the 70s into two parts: government and its economic policies, and culture. We're going to start with government and its economic policies. Far out, dude! The 1970s began with Richard Nixon in office. The economy was experiencing stagflation, which is where both unemployment and inflation rises. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Psych. Nixon realized that he needed the economy to be healthy if he wanted to be reelected in 1972. So, Nixon decided to freeze prices, wages, and rents to help the economy. This was unusual for Nixon because he was usually a hands-off president when it came to the economy. But this was a really smart plan! Oh wait, no it wasn't. His plan worked for a little while and he was reelected in 1972, but the healthy economy was short-lived and inflation rose again in 1974. This caused Nixon to fail at the presidency. In 1973, oil prices began to rise due to conflict in the Middle East. This caused the energy crisis. Seeing things like heating and electricity costs soared. We combated the crisis by decreasing dependency on foreign oil. We created the Alaskan Pipeline, which carried oil from Alaska to the rest of America. Nixon decided during his terms as president that he would visit the Soviet Union and China to create healthy relationships, because friendship is power! Nixon's resign as president ended in the Watergate scandal. The scandal saw Nixon ordering men to break into the Watergate offices of the National Democratic Committee to find information about the Democratic campaign. Nixon tried to cover it up and attempted to fire many people in the process. On the night known as the Saturday Night Massacre, Nixon ordered one of his officials to fire a judge requesting information about the Watergate scandal. The official stepped down from his position rather than fired the judge. The duty of firing the judge then fell into another official. He also refused to fire the judge and stepped down. A third official did finally fire the judge. However, the information about the Watergate eventually did get out into the public. Nixon was charged with impeachment, but the trial never occurred because Nixon resigned. This caused Nixon to fail at the presidency. Again. The presidency was then given to Gerald Ford. He began his time in office with a 72% approval rating, but it fell to 49% when he pardoned Nixon for his crime at the Watergate. Ford also lost approval for giving Vietnam draft dodgers amnesty. Bummer, dude. Ford finished out Nixon's term but was not reelected. Following Ford was Jimmy Carter in the presidency. Jimmy tried to gain back the confidence from the public that was lost during Watergate. He did this by having his wife and daughter being in the public eye. Also, he untraditionally walked down Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House after he was inaugurated. You can imagine how this made the Secret Service feel. Jimmy tried to stimulate the economy by cutting taxes and freezing wages, just like Nicky. This caused Jimmy to fail. This caused America to go into the 80s with a bad economy. Huzzah! And now for culture. Although the 70s are not recognized as particular high points in our nation's political and economic history, it did have a flourishing culture. In 1969, Apollo 11 landed on the moon and gave America the can-do attitude heading into the 70s. Much of the 70s culture was very successful and still continues today. Things like the smiley face, mood rings, Rubik's Cube, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Sesame Street, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, lava lamps, and the very popular and utterly useless pet rock. Other things like floppy disks did go out of style, but started to lead to ideas like the CD. Shows like the Brady Bunch and Happy Days were very popular on TV, and artists were known for their one-hit wonders. A night could be spent getting your funky do ready, putting on your platform shoes, 3 feet at the least, and going to the disco to boogie down. Also, the public did realize they had an effect on the environment and became more conscious to what they did to affect it. In review, the government and economy had its ups and its downs, arguably most its downs, and culture was all over. We'll catch you on the flip side, Daddy-O.